There are some pieces of music that don't just play, they've already arrived, fully formed as a character. This is the Pink Panther theme by Henry Mancini. You've probably already heard it in your head just then. And what fascinates me is that there are no words in this track at all. And yet, you instantly know who this is, even if you've never thought about it before. I'm Lucinda, and welcome to The Outsider Within, a space for honest conversations about the experience of being different. And today, we're exploring the Pink Panther theme. This song was originally recorded in 1963, so it has been around for a while. A lot longer than I have as well. I remember seeing the character and hearing the amazing track as a really young child. I've really felt the presence of the character, despite there being no lyrics. There's the slinkiness, the cat-like moves, and it's so tangible. When I was a child, there was a range of music that I feel really linked quite closely to this. There were theme tunes for different animals or characters, such as Peter and the Wolf, where each character had its own theme tune and you could hear their mannerisms and intent in the tune. It's a little bit like the Darth Vader theme before Darth Vader appears in any of the Star Wars movies. You can always tell that it's about to happen with the music. And again, as I said, there are no lyrics. There's nothing that actually explicitly tells us who's coming, who the character is, but it's all filled within us where we use all of our senses and our imagination and our perception to build out the character within just by listening to the music. I think music is so powerful and it's just so incredibly beautiful and fascinating how it affects us on so many different levels. And I think what's really poignant here is this track, as well as the others that I mentioned, really teach us to hone into and honour our perceptions. So to notice what it is that we're noticing, no matter which senses we're using to do that. So we might recognise who before what. We sense the what, but we're taught to override it with logic. And I think that this track in particular is all about our inner knowing, our understanding, our ability to perceive and instinctively categorize or understand. So I think it's actually a real gift in helping us to learn to tune into what we're feeling, so interoception, and to really understand and I guess not override, not logic, not downplay the magic of our abilities to perceive. Do you think we recognize character through sound before we consciously understand it? I'd have to say yes. I think there's a lot that we pick up, and again, going back to that ability to rely on our senses, to rely on the information that we are picking up, not to logic it, not to override it, not to rationalize or downplay, but to really learn to listen to what we perceive helps us pick up on, in this case, the character that the music is about, the Pink Panther theme. But I also think it's really helpful in everyday life when we meet people. And something I find really confusing and interesting at the same time is, you know, those times you meet someone, you get a really good feel about them and you get really excited by it and you go, wow, I got such a good feel from that person. I really like them. I'm looking forward to spending more time with them. And likewise, we can meet somebody and go, oh, I'm maybe not so sure. Something felt a bit off. Now, we may not be able to pinpoint that, but we felt it. And what I see happens again and again, and certainly it's something I've had to learn to stop doing, is we tend to go, maybe I was having a bad day, or maybe I just picked up on somebody else's stuff, or whatever it was. Whereas what I found in my experiences in life, is that those feelings are never wrong. It's like we're able to tap into something that is really key to our understanding of the person, that gives us a really clear and deep insight without having to, I guess, find it ourselves. If we can listen to that, we don't need to go through the processes, I can't speak straight today, processes to actually experience that or discover consciously and logically for ourselves. So yeah, interesting. And going back to the Pink Panther theme, I think while it's fun, it's also really clever, it's adaptive, it's elusive. I think, as you know, I love humour, and I think there's an element of humour that's really structured or part of the structure of this piece of music. Have you ever felt like a certain kind of music brings out a different version of you? I don't know that it brings out a different version of me, but it allows me to tap into different parts of myself. So I shared the Green Day songs a little while back, which is all about me picking up on other people's stuff and kind of just getting it out of my system. Um, there's songs that really tap into grief. There's songs that tap into joy. There's songs that tap into different emotions, different thought processes, different times in life, where I think music is just this incredibly powerful, I'm going to call it a portal again, an incredibly powerful portal that can transport us or help us to travel into different parts of us that may be harder to access, or maybe they or less obvious to us, that sometimes we need the music to actually get there. Let's have a listen to this great piece of music together. Isn't that an amazing track? I just really love the bass line that, yes, it's in there amongst the big band stuff, all the big band sound which builds and you get that big orchestral moment, but the bass line is just slinking along and being so cat-like. It's amazing. Um, it's just a beautifully written piece, a beautifully performed piece. Um, I think the other thing that I really enjoy listening to it with the headphones on is hearing the different instruments appearing in different places in my ears. Um, and it just sounds like you're surrounded, and yet the cat is still slinking along. It's just, it's really, really cool. So, yeah, I think the other thing I wanted to comment on was the beautiful interplay with the keys and the bass, and how they just work together so beautifully. There's like this little tinkly, and the cat-like sounds. I won't try to sing it for you. I've linked the full track below so that you can listen to it properly. Thank you for joining me on this episode of The Outsider Within. Next time, I'll be sharing a song that takes me back to a very specific moment of early identity, where something opened up before I had words for it. May you continue to own what supports you, even when it looks different.